My duties are to my family. I'm not supposed to be moving it, but I'm loyal only to myself. Dramatic. So today I'm going to be starting a new series, Rogue Legacy. So this game came out on Steam, at least it came out in 2013. I believe it might have been slightly earlier on other platforms. And it was one of my favourite games of the year. I devoured it, and then when my computer crashed and lost everything, I played it all through again. And then when it lost everything yet again, I played it through from scratch and got up to about New Game Plus 8. But I saw that it was available. Sorry, it wasn't the Steam version I had, it was the GOG version I had. And I saw that it was available fairly recently, at about the same time as I was getting a new computer. I saw that it was on sale on Steam, so I thought, why not? I'm just going to change a setting if I can. I've got a controller plugged in for other games, but I'm not actually using it, so let me check. What was I looking for? Just a second while I try and figure out what I'm doing. Change controls. I don't want to have to... There we go, sorry about that. I don't want to have to press down at the same time as dropping. I prefer quick drop. This is the sort of tutorialisation section, so there's not really any point actually in me worrying about collecting too many coins at this point, because now the game proper starts. So that's a little introduction, which you will come to make more sense as we get to the end game. But for now, let's just start up. Basic adventurer. We're just going to go straight in, and then I'll expound on the specific mechanics which affect the game when we get to them. Let me just quickly change my thing to full screen. Sorry, I much prefer it this way. I hope it doesn't cause any recording problems. I didn't think of that at the time, but that was foolish. Oh, I thought I'd kill them quickly. So this is Rogue Legacy. It's a platform type affair. What I really am out of practice. It's a platform type affair, which is also sort of a roguelite. So it has, in theory, permadeath, but there is some permanence to it as well. So it's got quite a cool system for progressing between runs, basically. If your character dies, you play on as the next generation of the same lineage, so you get to choose between a number of children. I'm struggling to play this and talk and reacquaint myself with the controls all at the same time, but I'll pick it up soon enough. You play as the next generation, and there are certain amounts of upgrades you can also get, which will aid your passage through the castle. I wasn't sure whether that painting was also whatever they call the flying portraits in this game. Two bowls. So I don't think I'm going to get... I saw someone mention earlier that there's some sort of achievement for getting through the entire castle in 15 deaths or less. That's not going to happen. But anyway, this is the death screen. It shows you your character, a bit of information about what killed you, and then a handy little... Or not handy, just neat little list of all the enemies that you killed as well. So let's choose our heir, next generation. Last time we were just a knight. So there are a few different classes, and you need to choose a combination of class and traits you like. So here we've got a knight. Knight's fairly good, that's what we were playing as last time. It's just sort of your generic standard class. But it also suffers from vertigo and electorophobia, and I don't like either of those. Vertigo makes you play the entire game upside down. Electorophobia means that you may have seen in the last run I came across some chicken which healed me. That's not quite as easy if you have electorophobia, because it actually turns into, well, they're still dead chickens, but they run around on their legs and could do damage to you, so it's not the easy heal that it can otherwise be. And there's also a spell, but I can't be bothered to explain that now. Basically, I don't want to overwhelm with information. This is the character that I'm probably going to go with, so again it's Knight. It's got IBS, even the most valiant heroes can suffer from irritable bowels, I can sympathise, but it's an aesthetic sort of choice rather than something which is going to really impact the gameplay, so it's just a fun little extra. There are a few of those thrown in which we'll see later on. And then another trait is PAD, peripheral arterial disease, no foot pulse. So that's something which sounds like a negative, but is actually very helpful when it comes to spikes later, so I will show you that as we get to it. And then we've got Knave, who's got higher crits but lower health, basically. Coprolalia basically swears. And hypergonadism, you knock enemies farther. So I'm going to choose Lady Priscilla. We also have a Chakram, which is a spell you use your mana just to basically throw out kind of a Chakram apparently, but it's like an orb which comes back to you like a bowling ball, I believe. I'm not quite sure exactly what it's supposed to be. And then you can also send spikes bouncing around the room if you have conflux. Alright, so we're going to go with Lady Priscilla because I like her traits. So traits can make more of a difference than you would expect. And then at the end of each run, you use the loot you've gained to upgrade your castle. When you upgrade your castle, it makes successive runs easier. So here I've just unlocked the smithy, and now you can see on the run up to the door, I could buy things from him. He's telling us about blueprints. Sorry, I shouldn't skip through this so fast, but he's telling us about blueprints. We can go and find them through the castle, and as we do so, all of these slots will fill up, and then you just pick combinations of equipment which work well with the class you're playing as, and which do good damage, have good upgrades, that sort of thing. I can't afford a sword now. There are a bunch of things in here which I could afford some of, but I think honestly for now I would rather just keep upgrading the mana. So I'm going to improve health slightly, and by improving health that gives an option to add another slot. So here you can turn your knight into a paladin, and the advantage of paladin is you can use his shield basically, and that uses a bit of mana, but it helps. And this will allow us to carry heavier equipment, which I don't really need now, but it will use up all my gold, which is a good thing. And it also means I'll be able to carry more in future, so I might as well buy it now. Mostly I just wanted to upgrade the mana, so we'll look at what those two are next time we come back, so that it's not just too much showing you things between going in the game. So another mechanic which is quite important here is, you see this chappie? This is Sharon, or Charon, or something, I don't know. Some sort of official name, which I'm sure comes from some folklore, which I'm just not well versed enough to recognise. He's not the boatman on the River Styx, is he? I don't know. Whatever he is, no, I'm just getting all sorts of things mixed up in my head now. Let's pretend I didn't say anything, because I don't know enough and I'm going to make a fool out of myself. Basically, what he does is he takes all of your money, so he takes all of your money before you enter the castle. Later on we'll be able to reduce slightly the amount he takes, but you'd still take most of it. So you'll see here, we're back in the castle, but our map has nothing on it, and that's because there's no way to remember things between runs, not at the moment at least, because the castle changes between every single run. Again, that's something which we'll be able to change a bit later on, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I did see a few people call this Furniture Smashing Simulator when it was first out. And that's to an extent true, especially in the early game where it is more important to get as much gold as you can in the small quantities which you get for smashing up someone else's property, you hoodlum. Oh, this is not going well. This room doesn't like me. So if you leave a room, all enemies in it heal, but any dead enemies don't come back, which can be handy. Oh, I'm ashamed. I bring dishonour upon my family. That was not a good start. But again, so yes, I'm definitely not getting the achievement for 15. So here we have a mage called Sahiro. Mages, every kill gives you mana, so that can be handy if you actually use them. I completely forgot to use my chakram at all last run. Can't even remember what button it is, and it only shows the Xbox controller ones here, whereas I like the keyboard for this sort of game. We've got a knave. I'm not that fond on the knave itself. And we've got a paladin, again with PAD, which is handy, we didn't really get to see it. And it's got conflux, which are big spiky balls. And everyone likes big spiky balls. So what else have we got? Unlock the architect and gain the powers to lock down the castle. So, the architect can lock a castle down and prevent it from changing. Like the layout of a castle, lock it down. Just make sure you can afford his fees. So this is another person that turns up roughly where the smithy was earlier on. And you can save the previous layout of a castle, but it does mean that you get a reduction to the amount of gold you get on that run. Also things like chests, which you already opened, will still be open. It's just enemies and sticks of furniture and things like that which come back. But it can be handy, especially when you're just trying to get through bosses. And then we've also got the Enchantress, so unlock the Enchantress and gain access to her magical runes and powers. This means you can find runes about the castle, which you can use to improve yourself, kind of like stat upgrades, but you can store however many it is, 5 or 6. You can upgrade the mage, which I'm not that fussed about, but I can't afford it now. You can improve magic damage, can improve mana for exactly what we've got, so again that can be nice because it minimises waste. Yeah, so I would like to improve attack, to be honest. I like playing with a bit more damage, even if it means lower health. He says, while also refusing to take the knave, but we'll see other classes later on which I like, which do more damage for lower health, but do more damage reliably. So, anyway, I've upgraded a bit. Let's have one last look in this castle. I don't have any real desire to see anyone when I can't buy anything. I'm just going to charge straight on in. There are some rooms like this which are fairly standard, and I was going to say fairly easy to avoid damage once you've seen them once. But I was just making a fool out of myself. I blame it all on the low speed from Starska's new character. I'm obviously just adjusted to high level play. This is not high level play for the record. For those of you who couldn't tell. Now this is probably a bad idea. He's like a mini boss. Didn't give us as much reward as I'd hoped. Did do some damage, which is not what I like. Are we playing as the paladin? I was about to say I could try and put my shield up and see if that blocks anything. Okay. Well, that's it for this first video, but thank you for watching, and I will be back very soon with more Rogue Legacy.